Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about the current state of the Yu-Gi-Oh meta, where we're at, and how we have gotten here to this point. But first, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you guys have enjoyed the content and anything else that I've been making, let me know. I'm going to continue to pump that stuff out. Yeah. Anyways, so the main point I'd like to get to is that how we got to this format in the first place, right? So we're at a point where Ryziel has one card starters. I believe it's about what you got. You got X, Ice, Sword. I guess the other one really isn't that one card starter. So you have essentially three one card starters that all act as extenders as well as extenders and starters, right? So I believe they're playing like about nine, but the underlying issue as well is the fact that they have three bonfire as well, and the number of non-engine that you can play in the deck. It's getting to a point where it's honestly ridiculous. And after talking with some people today, shout out Barry and James, we realized that it's kind of like cash format, but worse, right? Like hand traps like Ash Blossom, Infinite Impermanence, Effect Veiler, Mourner, Bell, the list goes on and on. Like these cards inherently have been good for stopping certain cards, right? Like you play them and you switch them around in formats. For the most part, Ash and Imperm haven't really left. But these like one for one hand traps that you're exchanging normally have been good enough if you stop them at the right time. However, specifically with Ryziel, we're in a place where they don't matter. Like just one of them is almost a waste of a hand trap because most time your opponent's going to have, Ryziel player is going to have a bonfire to extend. They're going to have another like normal summon to extend or another Ryziel. Like there's just plays on plays on plays that they can keep making to extend past your one interruption. Sometimes even two, and that's a problem, especially for one card starters. So it's not a problem for Malice so much because there are certain places in Malice where if you hand trap, it hurts them a lot. On top of that, they're blowout cards that shut them down, like Lancia and even Chaos Hunter. Like these cards completely shut Malice down, which honestly, if Malice was to tier one meta, totally fine. Like they can play, they have lines under, Chaos Hunter to get rid of it. But like there's a clear and set card to play to counter and beat them, which kind of was the case for Cash, right? Like you play all your Book of Eclipse, your Book of Moon things. Now, like Cash is a little different because it's shifter, right? It's a whole different kind of animal. It's shifter turbo. Malice can play shifter, would prefer not to. So you know the point I'm trying to make is that Malice can get hit, and it's not as consistent as Ryziel, and it's not as dangerous as Ryziel, to be honest, right? Ryziel is dangerous because of the fact that Detonator, along with not closed moon, is it closed moon, Eclipse, Twins Eclipse. Oh, those two in combination makes it so hard, and it makes it so that Detonator essentially has, you know, three to five interruptions from just Detonator itself, right? And you need to have, one card doesn't cut it, and then they have Cross on top of it, which is just at any point in the chain negate a monster effect, which is just insane, right? Uh, yeah, I don't know. Like Cross could get hit, that might help some things. Like that would help make Nib a little more effective, I guess. And it's just Raziel's an issue, right? So, I mean, it's fine if they start hitting consistency stuff, but because they're already getting more searchers, Droll's going to be the really only thing that's going to be high impact on them. Um, and that leads me kind of into the next thing with these floodgate or lingering hand traps, right? So you've got things like Droll, you've got things like Nib, you've got things like Shifter, Lancia, these hand traps that are becoming more and more prevalent because of their shotgun, even the Molchummies, right? You got Fulos, Prelia, and Meows, like these cards that you can shotgun and then they just last the rest of the turn. You don't have to interact with your opponent. I It's fine that they're helping you go second, but in my opinion, it's not great for game design because you're kind of just saying, "Oh, if I have this card, I'm changing the way you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh right now, and you have to adjust it until that card stops applying its effect." Which I don't. Maybe that's what Yu-Gi-Oh is trying to do. Maybe that's where the direction they're trying to go. I don't like it. I would prefer, like, if I have an Ash Blossom and I use it at the wrong point in my opponent's combo, and I don't know what their combo is doing, I get punished. But if I hit the right spot with my Ash, it should stop their combo. That's what I like, is having a maybe not a single hand trap, but like having a hand trap do something to their combo. Um, and now right now it just doesn't feel like it. Like Blue Eyes is different. Blue Eyes is, I think, totally fair. They don't all the time have combo on combo. Like sure they have Primite plus Blue Eyes, and then it's just like, okay, good job. But they have to play a lot of on engine right now, especially too. And yeah, they don't draw, perfect every single time, and it's not like they have extenders on extenders. So Blue Eyes really isn't that much of an issue. But these blanketing effects that all the decks have to play in order to combat this meta that we're in is an issue. At an OTS that I played in last night, actually at my locals, it wasn't just me. A lot of people experienced this because they were playing. I'm pretty sure they were YCS lists that honestly probably just got lucky with their hands. Let's be honest, because myself and others were getting these weird hands. Like I was on Mermail, another guy was on Mermail. Like we were getting these just weird hands. Like not even Mermail decks either. Like they were just a lot of just like one card like for maybe not even a starter, but like two cards to kind of make some weird lines, and then the rest were like non-engine hand traps, and half of that, at least for me, was like Fualoses and Pirelias, right? Like it's just kind of like weird stuff that you were dealt to starting hands that I guess in testing before didn't necessarily feel like it would be a problem, because like a lot of my test hands, at least with water, were like Neptibus or like Dragoons plus Abyss Shrine, like etc. Right? Like they're not that bad, but just this format's creating a lot of really awkward scenarios with hands that don't necessarily anticipate. Maybe you should be anticipating these, but it's hard to predict exactly what interactions because of the amount of hand traps that are being played. And like, okay, like I normal summon it, but it gets impermed. Okay, what do I add if I don't have full engine, or what do I send because I'm sending for cost? You have to take into account so many things. So, yeah, I just think that the format right now is really really tough. And if you guys check out Joshua Schmidt's video, he kind of goes into what it needs. I agree with a lot of it. I do think water probably should not have Molten Glacia in it, or maybe even Minstrel, like one of those two. Um, I think that would help make it a little more fair. Um, but I also think that like cards like High Wave King Caesar are an issue. Fiendsmith is still a problem. Like even though it's not necessarily being played as in Ryzeal because pure Ryzeal is just that much better at the moment. I think if Fiendsmith or if Ryzeal gets hit, we're going to see Fiendsmith rise up some more. But I think people are not starting to not play Fiendsmith because they have a feeling it's going to get hit. It's been out since Snake Eyes format, so yeah, I just think Fiendsmith it's going to be on the way out, or at the very least, it's going to get hit. So if Ryzeal players do want to splash Fiendsmith, it's probably going to end up being, like one engraver. I'd say like one engraver, like three lacrima, or one track, just something along those lines, right? It's going to be a much smaller package and much more volatile to, a single ash or something, right? Uh, that's at least my hope. My personal hope is that. So that'd be great. They get rid of like High Wave King. You completely ruin the Fiendsmith engine. All you have to worry about is Cross. Now that being said, if Cross doesn't get hit and they only hit consistency of Ryzeal, it should be, in my opinion, they should hit X to 1 and Sword to 1. I think X to 1 and Sword to 1, I don't think that would kill the deck. And if they leave Bonfire untouched and they have 7th Tachyon in there, fine, right? The deck dies to Droll then. It really dies to Droll. Sure, they have Ice, sure, they have Node. Like, they have the other ones that they can still have access to, but you're not giving them as powerful of a starter going second, as well as like sending Aggregator, right? not only that, you're cutting off their supply for just having extenders in hand at the moment. Whereas like if you have the Droll, you're winning. Then the meta deck becomes, hey, I have this one card and it's stopping you if you do any of your plays, right? Like I have this one card that's going to beat you most of the time if you don't have the other card in your hand, which it's just going to make it tougher for the deck to do better. It's not going to kill the deck because they still have their things, like they still have detonator and they still have cross. They can still do all these things with their non-engine. It just makes it more susceptible to hand traps being more effective, right? So, and the blowout hand traps will still affect other decks like Malice and Water and Mermaid Atlantean, etc. Um, yeah, I just think that's really what it needs. Ryziel needs a massive consistency hit to it. OCG has hit they've hit it a little bit, but they need to be more aggressive with it in the TCG. I think it needs to be like sword and X to one. I think would be chef's kiss. That would be great. Sword next to one. I think banning maybe not Dweller. Like Dweller kind of, if you ban the consistency of getting the rank fours, I don't think Dweller is that much of an issue. Maybe like High Wave King. If you don't if you don't touch Fiendsmith, like at least hit High Wave King and maybe like Molten Glacia. Oh, sorry. Yeah, maybe like Molten Glacia and High Wave King. I think that would be, those would be good hits, I think. Because like you're not killing Ryzia yet, and you're just ruining how easy it is for them to just turbo out rank fours, right? So yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. We will next week. Stay tuned. We are going to be building some sauce. We got some sauce for you guys. Post Vegas, okay? Post Team YCS Vegas, we got some really fun stuff coming up for you guys. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to take this deck that I'm going to be building. Hint: it has Raw, the Winged Dragon of Ra, and I'm sure you can guess what it is. Yeah, so really excited for what's to come, and thanks for tuning in, guys. And don't forget to subscribe. Catch you next time. Shinobi out.